Now we're ready to take a first pass at sculpting the subdivision surface model. As you can see, it looks quite boxy here. I'm displaying it without the edged faces, and I've got the selection brackets around it. You can see that it's really, quite square. And in fact, that's the sort of Achilles heel of this whole technique. Because you're starting from a box, you need to do some extra work to make it not be a box. Especially if you're doing character creature work. If you have a really boxy shape, it's not convincing at all. You'll need to look in all the ortho views to make sure you're not getting a boxy shape. In this case, I want to go to the top view. I'll hit Alt-W, go over the top view, right-click in there so I don't lose my selection. Alt-W again to maximize the top viewport. Then I'll go down to the Editable Poly and turn Show End Result on and go into Vertex mode. And what I want to do is move these points around to basically make a cylinder out of this cube. This is not just one point here. There are 5 points in that location. They're all stacked vertically. To select all of them, I'll drag a selection rectangle there, grab my Move tool, and then move that around. I'll just do that for all of these. And I can also use the Scale tool too while I'm at it. I can hold down Control and select these just to save a little bit of time. I'll use the Scale tool and scale only in the Y-axis in the viewport here. Do the same thing for these. Control select them. Scale that down. What I'm trying to achieve here is a round shape. Control select. Got the Move tool too. I'm just trying to push these around until I get a more or less round shape. And luckily, I've got a circular object as a reference point. I've got the bar stool base that I can use as a point of reference to try to achieve a round shape. It'll never be exactly round. This is important. You need to know this about subdivision surfaces. It's actually completely impossible to get a perfect sphere or a perfect circle. It's one of the sort of skeletons in the closet. But that's okay because you can usually get it close enough that the average viewer will not notice the difference. I'll select all of these points here, maybe move that in a little bit. I can just take a few minutes here to shape this up using Scale and Move. I'd like to try to make them as equidistant as possible. At least at this stage, I want to have a sort of uniform shape. And that means that most of the polygons will be about the same size. All right, let's see what that looks like in the perspective view. Go back to Alt-W. And as you can see what I've done, I've essentially converted that box into a pseudo-cylinder.